It's around 11:30 or 10:30 on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. And moving the cattle to the last section here. They're all taking a nap and chewing their cud when I come, so hopefully this will urge them to eat a little more than they normally would. Anyway, here's some of the manure they're leaving behind. It looks like they're getting low on protein. The manure's starting to pile up a little bit. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm not going to run to the store and get some protein supplement right away. Some of the manure patties look just fine. And so it's probably just one or two cows that are having a hard time with it. This is part of that, oh gosh, what is it called? Dallas grass. And they did something to it. They certainly ate some of it, but they didn't really go that deep in it. So looks like they just gave it a little bit of a haircut. And this last section here, the front part is kind of dominated by goat weed, so it makes it look like the whole thing has goat weed. Let me just walk past the goat weed a little bit so you can see better. And when you look down in the goat weed, so you see that there's vegetation down there. There's something growing down there. Some places are better than others, obviously. Here's a good place with lots of grass in between the goat weed. Anyway, so here is the eastern side of this last section. And you can see all kinds of good grass here. So a little bit old grass. I remember a couple weeks ago when I was here, it smelled like fermentation was happening. I think the seed pods or the seed heads on the grass had some kind of sticky syrup, and it would stick to the sheep and the cows. I guess that's how it propagates. I don't think it was this plant. I think it was the yeah, this one's not very sticky. There's something in there, some kind of moisture. But no, the Dallas grass seed heads were sticky and syrupy and sweet. And so I smelled like a fermentation smell, so I assumed that they were fermenting. Probably not enough to make a difference, but you can definitely smell a little bit of the alcohol. Ethanol, I guess, is the right word for it. Ethanol has a distinctive flavor or smell versus isopropanol. So one of the thoughts I had, and I think this is a good thought, is bringing the sheep, the ewes, to be with the cows, make one big herd, and then we'll take the 2 or 3 steer that I'm going to keep back and put them with the bulls. And when I get the dogs trained, which may not happen this year, but when the dogs are trained to stay with the sheep, keep them with the bulls and the steer. And so I have a huge herd and a tiny herd. And the thinking goes that the tiny herd will always be selective grazing no matter what I do. So the steer and the bull, they're going to be out there. Steer and the bulls are going to be out there munching on their favorite grasses and leaving everything else behind. Same with the rams. The reason why I'm not concerned about that is there's just so few of them that they're not going to be able to make much of a difference. And then the cows and the sheep will be doing more of a non-selective grazing. But I'm not going the full like total grazing route. But I will, kind of time all the rotations around them and just keep the bulls and the steer and the rams offset by 180 degrees in the rotation so that they don't see each other. And so the bull and the steer, I just give them a whole row. I'll let them just have at it. And then the cows will do like daily rotations. Hopefully to keep hopefully the sheep will learn to do daily rotations too. Daily, twice daily. Something along that frequency, And, target their grazing more, trying more to not graze too much or too little. And kind of optimize grazing in terms of yield for them, so that not only do we maximize the growth of the grass and other succulents that they like to eat, like the sheep love this stuff here. When the sheep come here, they're going to tear this apart. They'll strip it bare. There's some other things the sheep like too. They like milkweed. I've seen them nibble on goatweed, but not much. There's other weeds that they will go for first before they go for the grass. And they just eat that stuff up and destroy it, and then they go for the grass. But you're kind of optimizing that. I think that's what I'm going to do in the coming weeks. In terms of weather, right now it's like 70 something degrees. It's supposed to get up to 88. We're going to do a little bonfire / barbecue with the family here after the sun sets, or as the sun sets. And so I'm going to get some area set up with some wood. And then tomorrow it's going to be a high of 68, and tonight it's going to get down to the 40s, low 40s, which isn't freezing, but it's close to freezing. And we're going to have a few nights of the 40s, which, if what I'm told about Bermuda grass is true, that means the Bermuda grass is done. This is the last day the Bermuda grass is really going to grow, because those cold days is going to tell the Bermuda grass it's time to go to sleep, right? I don't think it's going to affect the cool season grasses, which we already seem to have plenty of. There's lots of grasses I'm seeing now that I didn't see in the summer, which I assume are cool season grasses. But I think this is the last week of Bermuda grass. From here on out, it's just going to be brown and cluttering the field. So that's what I think is going to happen. Oh, the temperature is going to come right back up, like 68, 70 something, and back up to the 80s. And then the last week, I think Sunday, like the 25th or 26th or whatever that day is, it says we should get a ½ inch of rain. There's a good chance of a ½ inch of rain. And so we should see a bunch of rain that last week of October. Already the posts are getting hard to stick in the ground again, so we're kind of dry. But there should be plenty of moisture downstairs from the spring. But the grasses that didn't get down deep are not going to be green, you know. So, plus the Bermuda grass is probably going to turn brown here when it gets cold. So guys, that's what I got for you. Have a great day. Take care, and bye-bye.